Hello, my name is Howard Greenberg,
I'm Hameed.
and welcome to Immigration Insights for 2025. Today's a special day, changes in the air.
Not only a new prime minister, but also in the cabinet announcement, a new immigration minister.
So there's hope.
And potential opportunity if the thinking is aligned. Minister Lena Diab was a provincial minister of immigration.
Right.
And has a legal background as well, so some familiarity with immigration.
Particularly provincial immigration programs.
Correct.
So she's not starting from scratch.
That's right.
We're at day one, and what are we facing? So let's have a little talk about the future. What would you say the current state of the immigration law is in Canada?
Look, right now there's a lot of room for significant rethinking and retooling with our immigration program. Interestingly, when you look at the cabinet release, very little discussion about immigration.
Right.
But you see within business, there's a lot of encouragement about rethinking an approach to help Canada facilitate the best skills, thinkers, and investment into the system.
Well, let's drill down a little bit. I know a lot of people who are watching this who are interested in immigration will become frustrated with the fact that there are not easy pathways to Canada. The immigration levels are relatively lower
Correct.
because there's a lot of interest in Canada and there's a lot of people who apply. And a lot of people apply from inside Canada as well as outside of Canada, and they seem to have the inside track in terms of getting the positions or invitations.
For permanent residents, that's true, but you also find there aren't appropriate pathways to attract some of the more seasoned entrepreneurs, investors. We have a startup visa program, but not many other options in comparison to other countries.
So what's been our favorite program lately?
We've been leveraging, the startup visa program. In some instances, we look at a C10 if there's significant economic benefits, but
For temporary status.
for temporary status.
And the startup for temporary and permanent status, and that's the way to go.
Right. However, we've had some great discussions with amazing people in the U.S. who we never thought would be rethinking their home jurisdiction to
Right,
Canada.
right.
But it's been challenging because we don't currently have a pathway that's predictable and transparent.
So a lot of our colleagues talk about the future in very fuzzy terms, but I think that we could be a little bit more specific. Our vision of the future is that the immigration law is going to have to change. It's not going to happen for 2025-26 because the annual plan will not be coming out until November. And so basically it's going to be the status quo, holding the same levels that we have now, and trying to reduce the number of temporary workers in Canada or temporary residents in Canada, even students and whatnot. But when we move beyond 2025-26, we're excited about the prospects that immigration will be re-engineered with a new prime minister who's got his hands on and a minister who understands aspects of the immigration program.
Well, and what I really like is that Prime Minister Carney is talking about Canada's self-sufficiency, its innovation. He's had a proven track record in dealing with challenging economies. If this minister comes with a fresh view and starts thinking about Canada's priority, chronic skills, shortages, innovation, investment, maybe we can bounce back in a climate where we really have to think outside the box.
So if you were looking into the crystal ball for the future, what do you think the selection system is going to look like in 2 years?
I think we have to rethink express entry. I think, Canadian work experience,
Right.
factors like age don't tell the full story.
Right.
What about capability, proven aptitude, demonstrated success?
Right.
I think it's time for retooling the system to really attract those success factors that are not being considered.
And to marry people to jobs as quickly as possible. There are a lot of employers looking for specialized workers. There's a lot of specialized workers who are looking for those employers. And there's no process out there for meeting the two together.
Right. And let me leave you with one concept. We've had a healthcare shortage for years. We've seen a lot of U.S. qualified healthcare professionals very interested in Canada.
Right.
If Canada can get around, and we see some promise in BC about dealing with some of those provincial credential issues, there could be a wave of amazing tech people coming in and healthcare people hitting the service needs that we really
And that would carry forward to all the regulated industries like construction, for example.
For sure.
And even education, which has now found its way to the preferred list.
Right.
So the next thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for an announcement of what the mandate letter contains. A mandate letter is a specific direction from the Prime Minister to a minister in a department indicating, advising, directing that minister as to what that minister should be accomplishing and what the priorities are of the government. And we typically look at that letter to see what programs are going to be addressed by the minister in the next 3 to 6 months. And so far, it's a little early, the mandate letter hasn't come out yet, but it's coming.
Right.
And it's going to give us a clue as to where we're going.
Correct.
So this is our first in our series. We can't say very much more at this point. She's just been sworn in. I imagine she's found her office. When she went into her office, she probably saw a number of binders on her desk called briefing notes. She's probably reading with great interest as to how the program works. And so we're all going to take a deep breath until the minister gets into gear, and then we're going to see where we're going.
That's right.
And when we see where we're going, we're going to tell you where we're going in our next Insights videos.
Perfect. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode. Lots of interesting issues. We welcome your questions. We're always available for a discussion to develop the appropriate pathway in the challenging times that we face.
Hello, my name is Howard Greenberg.
Hi, sorry, do it again.
And together we're great. I'm not sure if the mic's joining us. Oh, he is here. I'm sorry to see if the